Hola guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to Steal the Spotlight. Today I have 5 super easy DIYs that I actually use, so let's get straight into them. So for the first DIY, all you're going to need is a pair of old jeans, some fur trim, faux fur of course, and a hot glue gun and a pair of scissors. So as you can probably tell, this one is going to be very simple. So all you need to do is lay out the pant leg of the jeans you've chosen, then grab your hot glue gun and attach your fur trim. I know it sounds so basic, but I really wanted to feature it because it is the perfect way to cover up a failed DIY, which is exactly what I was trying to do here. I thrifted this pair of jeans, did this fringing on them, didn't like it, was never wearing them, so I thought this would be the perfect solution. Once you've finished that on the first pant leg, you're just going to want to measure out where the trim ends so you can make sure they're even on both legs, otherwise it's probably going to look a bit ridiculous. But from there, just continue the exact same steps on the other leg. So for the next DIY, all you'll need is a beret, eyelet kit, hammer, some ring hoops, also a pen and a photo for some inspiration. The first step is just to mark out exactly where you want the eyelets to go. I'm doing this by using the ring for guidance just to make sure I'm not spacing them too far apart. From there, you'll just want to pierce a small hole on the mark you have just made, and then it's all about following the basic instructions of an eyelet, so you can probably just get the gist from watching along here. Otherwise, I'm sure the kit you purchase comes with the simple instructions as well. Do make sure you're hammering down hard enough. I did a few practice goes before I did it on the beret, just so I didn't stuff it up. So once you've completed all 4 eyelets, it is time to attach your ring hoops as well. A very important step is to open them up at the ends. Trust me, this makes life so much easier when you're trying to thread them through the eyelets. When you do thread them through, make sure you're starting from underneath. This way, that kind of messy join won't be visible when you're wearing the beret. So for this next DIY, you'll need a basic singlet, a couple of packets of these fabric roses, and a needle and thread. To start off with, I'm just laying out my singlet and positioning the roses exactly where I want them. The packets that I purchased do have different shapes and sizes, so that's why I felt this was an important step. To attach them, I am just using needle and thread. You could probably try out your hot glue gun, but I thought that this would be a much more secure way of attaching them just because of the fabric and the way that they sit along the neckline there. But trust me, needle and thread isn't as hard as you may think. It only took about 20 minutes to attach all of these. This next DIY requires a pair of trousers, ribbon of your choice, and once again your hot glue gun and scissors. So you'll want to start out by having that seam that goes right down the sides of your legs and folding your pants so that is actually what you see down the middle while you're gluing. So obviously just taking my hot glue gun once again, and I'm running that right down that middle seam to start with. We will add more glue later on, but I felt that this was easiest just to keep myself on track and making sure that everything was straight. As you can see, I left a little bit of ribbon on the end there. I did that so we can tuck that under later, just to make sure that the pant still has a nice crisp edge. Once you've finished gluing directly down that side seam, it's time to take the hot glue gun again and attach those edges down more securely. Then we can come back to that little bit of excess fabric we left at the end and tuck it under. This is way better than having a fraying ribbon at the ends. I'm also using a very similar process at the top of the trouser as well. As you can see, I left a little bit of excess, tucked it under and glued it in place. I didn't do it over the waistband, but that was only because I do have an elastic waist around the back, so it would have pulled really strangely. You'll just have to decide on this depending on the type of trouser you've chosen. For the final DIY, you'll need an oversized denim jacket, some sheer white fabric, I'm using an old curtain just to save costs, and then your usual supplies, pencil, ruler, hot glue gun, scissors, and Stanley knife. The first step I took is just buttoning the denim jacket all the way up. This way I know everything is where it's supposed to be before I start ruling my lines. Here I am just marking out a rectangle in the back panel of the jacket. You can do these marks wherever you want. I am inspired by the off-white denim jacket, so I'm roughly using that as my inspiration. Once your lines are all marked out, it is time to get cutting. I'm using a Stanley knife, so I did make sure there was a board underneath so I didn't cut right through to the other side of the jacket, but if you don't have one, a pair of scissors will work just as well. The next step is to start distressing along those cuts we've just made. I think this is actually a really crucial part because it gives it that whole worn in effect we're really going for here. Once you're happy with how the distressing looks, flip your jacket inside out and it is time to cut out the piece of sheer fabric we need. For this, you just want a little bit of extra fabric around the edges, that way it's super easy to hot glue it in place. So once I had my first panel in place, I decided I wanted to start distressing all the other areas where there weren't actually going to be any panels. So for this, I used a few different distressing methods. I'm sure we've all seen thousands of different DIY distressed denim videos by now, so I won't bore you with that, but just keep going until you have as much or as little distressing on the jacket as you like. Once you're happy with that process, it is time to get back to the cutouts, decide where you want the panels to be. I went for the sleeves, the front chest, and also little slits down the front middle as well. Do keep in mind that this one can be very time consuming, so I definitely recommend doing this while you're binge watching something on Netflix. So that's all for my 5 super simple DIYs. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of my fashion content. Thanks for watching, guys. Mwah!